Hi Jason, it's Jason. I'm just doing a response video to your video with the questions you had asked. I know this bike looks like, well, crap right now, because this, like right before my tire went flat, this bike just went to crap, because I guess you can call it mudding, what I was doing. But my tires popped, so I can't show you how everything works, but I will show you how everything is connected. This is the clutch. It has a sacrifice brake cable because it broke on the road one day. So it's like really long. Here's the clutch arm. I got the old one that stinks. Doesn't work very well. I have to push it out because it's a really long cable. And it goes all the way around on an umbilical cord because I forgot to charge my camera. It goes all the way around from over there all the way to right here. It goes through that linkage so you can see through all the grit. Hold on. Okay. Goes through that linkage right there. You always have the big one on the cable itself, so it doesn't burn on the motor, melt. So it goes through that linkage, if you can see it, and it goes all the way up to here. That's where it's connected. That little thing screws on, it clamps against the cable, which is a crappy cable, which is why it's frayed on the end. When you do the tank, don't forget you need to, right now I'm using what's called molly screws because mine vibrated out because I wasn't using screws with a fine enough thread. So they just kept vibrating out and I ended up having to use molly screws. Molly screws are when you run the screw in, you put a hole, like it doesn't look like a screw when you put it in, it just looks like a tube with a screw head. You stick it in and the more you screw in the screw, there's these little wings that are like that when they go in the hole, and then they open up as you screw in the screw, and so that makes it so it'll never ever come out again. So that's holding on my tank brackets. You can see those. It's really dark. Like I said, this bike has pretty much gone to crap. I've had to fix everything on the road, so all the nuts and bolts are all rounded off because I've been using vice grips. There is the throttle. I mean the spark plug. It goes down the cord up to here. The screws that they supply you for a clamp that goes around there are way too short, so I just used a whole bunch of zip ties to hold it on. And then those wires go down to out where it comes out of the engine. And then the throttle wires, which are usually up there, this is the throttle that I replaced it with. It's a motorcycle throttle. That is how much it turns. That's what it looks like on the end. That's what yours should look like. I noticed that yours was a little bit slack. Mine is too right now, but this is generally how it should look. Mine needs to be tightened a little actually. But that's like the maximum that it turns. Here's my keyed kill switch, which is not hooked up at the moment. All it is normal wires that hook up to the wires that they tell you. Since I've gotten this engine, they have changed which wires you hook it up to. Mine is hooked up to the white and blue, but I was told that that shortens the life of your magneto. So I'm not sure what it is now. But anyway, That's how that is. And you were saying, wait for the wind. It's fixing to pour, so it's like really nasty out. There. Can't remember what I was talking about now. Oh yeah, you're saying that your pedal rubs a little. Mine did too. And all I did was tight, which is actually loose right now. I just loosened up the motor mount. I had one person hold the motor over, like push it, and then I tightened down the motor mount, and that worked fine. And then my pedals didn't hit it anymore. See, it comes really, really close, but it doesn't hit it. There is the idler pulley, which I have flattened out. That comes to stock curve. That is just an added extra, just in case. I put the I threaded holes in the frame, and I put that just so it won't twist. There's the idler wheel, and when you turn, when the wheel turns, this turns also, or it's supposed to. This one doesn't have a bearing, but the newer ones have bearings, and that has to turn, or else it will flatten off on the end. What else? Oh, this right here is your mixture screw, or throttle idler screw, whatever you want to call it. That is where I have it set. I have it set at either 2.5 or 3.5 turns, I'm not exactly sure where, out from all the way screwed in. So here, I'll do it on camera. Excuse my fingernails. 1 turn, 2 turns. I only have it at 2 turns right now, but I know for a fact when I first got my engine that it was at 2.5 at least. I'm going to turn the screen so I can see it. So there's 1 turn, and then 2 turns. That's where I have it set right now. That is the primer bulb. When you're first starting your engine, you hold that down, and it floods the bowl, which primes your engine. That thing right there that goes up and down is your choke, and that, I have that because mine eventually vibrated loose and the choke always goes up, and when the choke is up it is fully choked, and you do that to initially start the engine when it's cold. When it is running, you push that all the way down, unless you plan on going about 5 miles an hour. Also, what I would recommend getting is a fuel filter, just in case. I am using one. I got it at AutoZone. As you can see, it is a very tight fit. It's focusing on the grass right now, but or on the leaves. But as you can see, it's a very tight fit, just to be sure. That is a spark plug itself, which needs to be replaced. I was told that the stock spark plugs are crap, but I'm still using mine. It's working fine. That is the exhaust pipe, just bent and needs to be painted. But that's what I did with my blowtorch. Initially, it would either go down all the way and hit the pedal, or I would have a smokestack, which I wasn't too very fond of. This, I think that's it. Other than the brakes, I eventually replaced mine because I don't have front brakes. So, that would be my dad. I replaced my brakes because the stock ones are crap. It took me like the whole street to stop from full speed. So I got these Shimano brakes that are working perfect. The only problem is that occasionally, which I have to do now, the tire's flat so it isn't rubbing. But normally that cable will rub, and it makes me have it makes me wear out the cable, which is actually frayed right now. So I usually get tons of extra cables until I can find a fork with a front brake. I guess that's pretty much it. When you're on the road, always be careful that your throttle doesn't stick, because I know that initially my throttle always stuck until I wore it in. So be very careful about that. And before your first ride, make sure you hook up the kill switch, just in case you set up something wrong. It might want to go full speed.